I believe the engines for Cod were manufactured here in Cleveland, and I think that's the main reason we have her here in Cleveland. She's also, if I remember correctly, the only surviving example of a torpedo. I forgot what the second word is. It's some sort of computer. It still functions as it did in World War II. Yep. And unlike the other submarines, other preserved ones, Cod has had no modifications to her hull, as in there's no like cuts made into it for easier access to the ship. Everything is still as it was in its World War II configuration, so all the stairways are the same ones that were used when she was in service. Whereas Bakuna had extra stairs cut into her hull to make getting in and out easier.
So that people can see it?
Mm-hmm. Whereas Cod, you still go in the same way the sailors back then did. It's a long ship. Actually, apparently submarines are technically called boats. It's center of gravity. So a ship, when it turns, if say it's turning left, it's gonna lean to its starboard side. Yeah, whereas a boat will lean towards the way it's turning. Apparently submarines lean the way they turn, making them boats. I think this will be my first time getting up close to Cod.
This is what, $63 million in renovations?
63. Where'd you get that number?
And then Sherwin-Williams, whose headquarters here in Cleveland, provided the outer
I forgot how much it was. I want to say, I don't know. I'll search up how much it was to refurbish Cod. But I know that it's been about 63 years since last dry dock. So the reason that can happen is because she's not sitting in salt water.
it's $1 million in repairs over 63 days.
Yeah. This will be my Intrepid Growler, New Jersey, Olympia, Bakuna. 6th museum ship I've seen within less than a week. What was that? Just happen to see what kind of fish? Isn't there walleye out here in Erie?
You got stuff, everything in here. Steelhead.
Oh, really?
Lake trout, walleye, perch, crappie, bluegill, bass.
Bluegill are like everywhere in Ohio.
Catfish. Sheep's head, goby.
Feels like bluegill are like the most common fish that we catch. I would say bass are close up there. I feel like walleye are the ones we catch the least.
Well, there's not a whole lot of walleye in inland waters.
Or muskie.
Unless you're
I'm happy I have my contacts in.
it's good. The clouds go in the sun.
Yeah. Cod is also responsible for the only submarine-to-submarine rescue in history.
Oh yeah.
The Dutch submarine 019 got stranded on shore, and Cod rescued her crew, and I believe they destroyed the submarine afterwards to ensure that it didn't fall into enemy hands. And then afterwards, the crew of 019 they stayed with Cod for a bit. They were dropped off in, I believe, Australia, I want to say. I don't remember perfectly. And after the war ended, they invited the crew of Cod to a party when the war ended. And on the side of Cod, you'll see a wine glass tipping. And that's to mark that rescue. I plan to build a model of Cod, but I'm gonna have to have custom-made decals for it.
Can't even drive itself.
Engines aren't enabled. Is that what just took off?
No, it's still here on the ground.
Oh,
That one just took off, but it's one that's good. Yeah, these are walleye boats here.
yeah, the engine, I don't believe Cod's, it's not that I don't believe, I know Cod's engines aren't functional anymore. I don't believe any museum ship's engine, no, well, depends on what you call an engine. Because USS Constitution, which is an old Ironsides ship, it's propelled by sails. It's from the era of sailboats.
So it has no propulsion.
Yeah, its propulsion is the wind, and it's technically our flagship.
Is that a Cod?
No, it's the flagship of the Navy. You'd think they'd hand that to Gerald R. Ford.
What's that little boat behind it?
Those are tugs. I just stopped recording. Just as that happened. Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah, but it's gonna come right in here.
Yeah. It's gonna dock over there. That's why that USS Cod thing is right there.
This right here is where it comes in.
Yeah. It's a long stretch, so it's gonna come right across here.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. The torpedoes these things fired have a very interesting history. So, the Mark 14 torpedo, the Bureau of Ordnance, who I'm just going to call the board, and the Navy were torn between who's going to pay for them. And since neither of them wanted to pay for the Mark 14, the ultimate decision was, we just won't test them. Make sure that they work, despite the fact that they're using brand new technology with this magnetic warhead that's supposed to detect a ship above it, go underneath the ship, blow up, and cause it to, blow up underneath it where it's weak, and the ship would kind of fall apart or split in two. Well, they didn't test this new warhead, or this new detonator. So, 1942 or 1941, Pearl Harbor's bombed. We enter the war, and so we're testing these torpedoes with dummy warheads, meaning they're not going to actually detonate. So we're just reusing the same ones over and over. We go into combat with them, and torpedoes from submarines are being launched, and from aircraft, they're exploding like the moment they touch the water. They're exploding way after they pass the ships. They're running too high, and since their actual detonator when they hit a ship, like a contact detonator, that hasn't been tested, so it'll hit a ship and it'll break apart because it won't explode. It's running too low and doesn't detect the ship above it and doesn't explode. And so these problems are being reported to the Navy, who then reports them to the board, and the board blames it on the Navy, saying that you're not teaching your boys how to use these torpedoes, despite the fact that the only manual they have for this torpedo has been locked away as a top secret document that they don't want anyone getting their hands on. So this torpedo is supposedly not being used correctly, and the board doesn't want to teach them how to use it correctly. And they don't want to admit that they built a faulty torpedo. And eventually, the Admiral of the Navy finds out that these torpedoes are faulty, and he's livid with the board. It's kind of like, say some guy messes up something and tries to blame it on you, and then his big boss comes out and intimidates him into doing it correctly. That's basically what it was, and the board was basically forced to do it to fix what they screwed up. And eventually the torpedo did get to working, but it took until late 1943, I believe.
So 2 years.
About 2 years of us being in the war for the board to finally fix their faulty torpedo that they don't want to admit was poorly made.
So it was pretty worthless for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of waste.
There's a report that a submarine launched 15 torpedoes at a ship. Some of them hit and never detonated.
That's a ship.
Is it?
Sure ship looks like
Is that a joke?
it. Doesn't that look like it?
It kind of does.
I'm thinking it is.
It's a restaurant ship.
It is. Do you see the mascot up there?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that guy owns that place.
Oh.
Is the mascot.
That would make sense, because that's a pretty nice car, too.
Where is this thing? Did you get it that time?
Yeah, I got that. I would. Oh, it's right there. Man, that's awesome. Imagine being there to being on her. I mean, that's a 13-hour trek from Pennsylvania here, but that's something that you'll probably never get to do ever again, is sail on Cod. The fact that she went 63 years without being dry docked for repairs is impressive, to say the least. and managed to go all the way from here 13 hours to Pennsylvania to get repairs.
Yeah, Sherwin-Williams donated the exterior paint, I guess if that's what you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
to redo that.
Yeah. I remember I saved a bunch of photos of her while being repaired, like the parts where they cut out bits of the hull, you know, the stuff that needed replaced. And I have like a bunch of photos of the progress from her leaving to now I have her coming back. They did a very good job on restoring it, the hull. It's a lot of tugs.
Big boat.
Yeah. I doubt there's anyone else my age right now that's here watching this.
You want to know what time you got to touch it with your tongue. I got it, Ryan. All right. We'll keep these landlubbers in line.
Two, 224. bet this job is a bit nerve-wracking, huh?
Pull the other guy's gonna
Yeah, they gotta rotate it. Rotate her so that she can fit over here. Is that the sound of the rope stretching? I was questioning what my next scale model would be that I build. I think I just answered it. I'm not just going to build a Gato, I'm going to build Cod. Hell, I might try and make a diorama of this. Look out to your left. Look over there.
Hey! Hold this hand and give me that line back.
pull that line off.
No, take that line off, Bill. Don't tie it. Yeah, you gotta take that heaving line off. I need the heaving line back. We got another line coming, Bill. Don't tie it off yet. Don't pull. Just don't worry about pulling. Yeah, don't pull. You're not gonna be able to. Just sit in the mud right now.
Yeah, it's no biggie.
Yeah, don't pull the line, man. Yeah, you're gonna pull that ship line.
the bow.